Hey everybody, welcome to Smashing Game Time. We are two brothers going through gaming's back catalog of yesteryear. I am your host, Nick. I am joined, as always, by my brother, Josh.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Josh. We were originally going to have an interview today. I don't know if you can tell by the lovely sound of my unlovely voice that I came under the weather when the interview was supposed to happen. So we are rescheduling that interview with Jennifer Ann's group. That's going to be a great interview when we get to it. I didn't mean to sound like a presidential candidate there, but it will be a great interview when we get to it. So for today, Josh and I are just going to talk about what we're playing. We're going to talk some news, and we're going to answer some emails. Let's see here. Let's go through the regular notes here at the top. Smashing Game Time is wherever you get your podcasts. We're on Apple, Spotify, YouTube Podcasts, and YouTube proper. Go see our wonderful places in those places. Go see our wonderful faces in those places. You can tell the fever is eating the brain cells. Fuck the algorithm, tell a friend. That's right. Word of mouth is king here. Yeah, we don't fuck with the algorithm, so yeah, fuck off. And I think that's it. Let's get to what we've been playing. I'll go first, Josh. My list is filled with games, TV shows, and comic books. I'm starting out with, let's see, I finally got the Balatro bug. Balatro, for those who don't know, is the run-based poker game where you're scoring chips based off the value of the card, but then you're also doing multipliers based off of jokers that have these different abilities. And so the way it's set up, an ante in like poker is like what one level consists of. So you have a small blind where you have to get up to like 200 chips, a big blind where you have to get up to 400 chips, and then like a boss fight, which is like having to get up to 800 chips. But then there's like a special thing going on. So like, for example, one of the first boss fights is usually at the end of every hand, you discard 2 cards. So it has that additional challenge. It's a lot of fun. It's very challenging. I heard everyone talking about how addicting it is. And it's one of those games that I'm playing on Steam Deck, and it's very dangerous if I just put the Steam Deck to sleep and then I boot it up to go play something else later, but Balatro is still on there where I left off, and I'm like, oh, I'll just do this again. And I just end up playing Balatro for another 2 hours.
So it's vicious cycle is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is when you're done with Balatro on your Steam Deck, properly shut the game down, or else the next time you get on, you're going to play more Balatro because it's already on there. It's kind of like cigarettes. If you have them, you're going to smoke them.
That's true.
But I'm having a lot of fun with that. I haven't had a fully successful run yet. Furthest I've gotten so far is the 5th ante. It's a challenging game, because the chips that you need to get ramp up with each passing ante. I haven't skipped any blinds yet, so I'm going to try a run where I do that. But I'm in a run right now where all my face cards get plus 30 chips that I play. Let me do a better job of explaining. So basically you're scoring chips by playing the cards, but you're also scoring chips by playing a good poker hand. So two pair has a certain amount of multiplier and a certain amount of chips it's worth. 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, full house, flush, straights, all that stuff. And you can level those up with cards called, I think they're called like planet cards or solar cards. And so like, for example, if you get Venus, you can level up. I think Venus is pairs. So you can like level up pairs, which ups the multiplier and ups the chips that's worth. And you can, if every time you get Venus, you just level up that kind of hand. And so that's a nifty way to do it. But I think the number one way to just like have a better run is to find those good Joker cards. And there are some broken ones. So like, there was one that I had that made every card a face card. And then I had another one that every face card that you played in a hand was plus 30 chips on top of what it already was. And then I had another one that multiplied the first face card of every hand. So I was just getting this nasty amount of multipliers, nasty amount of chips with every hand because they're all face cards essentially. So that was fun. I'm going to keep playing that. Again, I'm super addicted. I see what everyone is talking about, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm going to keep playing it until my Steam Deck blows up. I'm playing another game I can't talk about. I'm gonna be that annoying guy who does that because this game, oh my gosh, when I do get to talk about it, I'll have a lot to say about it. So that's all I'll say about that.
Sick son of a bitch.
Super Meat Boy. So in playing Super Meat Boy with my son, I actually finally beat it again today, and I forgot how satisfying like those when you're getting ready to fight Doctor Fetus. The last five, there's five levels before you get to his boss fight,
Mhm.
and they're some of the hardest in the game. And I forgot how satisfying it is when you finally that fifth level that's just like got all these really ridiculous, hard to pull off jumps with buzzsaws around them. It felt so good to finish that, even though it took me like 20 minutes. And then, so you beat it, you have to run out of the place as well, and then the game gives you the credits, but then it spits you out into Cotton Alley or Cotton Valley, which are the very fucking hardest levels of the game, where you have to
Mhm.
play as Bandage Girl, and she plays just like Meat Boy. There's no difference there, but her levels are fucking ridiculous. There's buzzsaws everywhere. Jumps have to be like perfect. It's like, remember in I think it was called Inferno 2 in Trials HD.
Yeah, I remember that one.
That final level of super hard, super ridiculous jumps. That's all 20 levels of Cotton Valley, and then it gets even
Mhm.
worse because there's the light world and the dark world.
Mhm.
So you finish the light world, which is near impossible, and then you jump into the dark world and you just get your ass run over, just completely. I want to go back and finish up the rest of the dark worlds. I've got to do at least. I want to say the first three worlds in the game I've 100%ed, so I think that's the like forest, hell, or forest, salt mill, and hospital. So I've got like two more dark worlds to finish up. They're not the most challenging compared to everything I've done so far, but yeah, I think I'm gonna try to 100% Meat Boy because I beat that today, and let me see. I got the achievement for beating the game on Steam. Let's see what percentage of people get that achievement, Josh. Give me a number. Give me a number.
7%.
You're thinking 7%?
Yeah.
You were close. So the end. Beat the light world. 6.8% of players have this achievement.
Whoa. So
You were
close.
close. You were close. That's crazy that that amount of people have that. If I look at let's see, let's look at the rest of these achievements. Okay, I remember having a few where I was like, really? That's that's not a lot of people. So like for example, complete forest without dying. Forest is the very first world. Easy to be, like there are worlds where there's no way to die, or levels where there's no way to die in that world.
Mhm.
Only 4% of people have that one. Collect 50 bandages. 5% of people have that one. Complete 10 retro warp zone. 5%. That one's not even words. I'm not even gonna read that one. Let's see. Nostalgia, unlock a single retro warp zone. So 68% of people have that. I want to see. Yeah, so that's actually the highest percentage because it drops down after that. Next one that most people have is 45%,
Jeez.
and then it just keeps on dipping and dipping and dipping. Do I have one that like nowhere? No. Complete the Rapture Dark World. Yeah, the game is sick because it has, and it's Cotton Alley, not Cotton Valley. I stand corrected. I was right for very first time. Um, there are sick achievements where it's like complete the light world of this world without dying, complete the dark world of this world without dying, and all those are about 1%. Some sick puppies out there. I think I could get a few of these. There's no way I can get Dark Valley. There's no way. Complete the end, Dark World without dying. Complete the end, Light World. No, no, no.
I
I will
mean,
not.
I'm already playing a dark game as is, and I'll talk about it when we get to it. But I'm sick fuck. That's all I'm saying.
Now, I will say they've got a Meat Boy plushie that just came out February 29th. That is very, very cute. I might get that. Might get that. For Gus, not for me, of course. Segueing into my other game, I jumped back into Nuclear Blaze, which I got back into the Hold My Beer mode. Finally beat that area that I was getting frustrated with, that like very first area with like the boxes of water that run out.
Yep.
Beat that, and now I'm just kind of blazing through it, no pun intended.
Yeah, you probably won't get stuck until uh, I forget which section or what the chapter is or level, but it's where you go to set up the sprinkler system. The system goes berserk, saying like the water pump's broken,
Hmm.
and then you have to go through and there's fire all around you, and you have to go around activating each sprinkler and in each section to help you clear it. That's the part I got stuck on after that.
I think I remember the original version of that, and I liked that area. So I think I'll like this. Again,
It's even harder because you don't have a key. So you it's like 2 or 3 sprinklers in that room.
I think I'm either going to try and beat it tonight or work on it tomorrow. Got to get I've started our questions for that. Yeah, that interview's in a few days. We're recording on a Sunday this week because of my illness. Hopefully, all this congestion is gone just in time for the interview Wednesday during the day. Outside of games, I've just been exploring some other media out there. I've been media curious. Finally started watching Tokyo Vice over on HBO Max. It's based on a book came out in 2009. It follows a Missouri boy, by the way, a Missouri boy. I forget his name, but he was Baby Driver in the movie Baby Driver.
Okay.
He is in Tokyo, and he wants to be a reporter for the paper out there. There's a lot of cultural differences that he doesn't quite get when it comes to reporting, especially when it comes to like the police beat and reporting on murders. The central mystery is about these Japanese men that are either dying, like being killed, or committing suicide in public. That it's about like them gaining this rapid amount of debt and why these men are now doing this. And he teams up. Team up's a weird word, but he basically befriends this policeman who he kind of takes under his wing, and he's like follows him on his beat, and that's his main source. And I'm only about 6 episodes in of the first season. Second season's going right now. I'm liking it a lot. There's some funny moments in it, but I don't know. The mystery isn't the central thing. Like I've really bought into the character, so it follows this journalist. You don't quite understand why he left Missouri, but as a Missouri boy, you're like, oh, I get why he left Missouri. It follows this young Yakuza member who is kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Do I want to do this? It follows this one in Japan, in Tokyo. There's this service where the women like will sit with you at the bar and chat with you and drink with you. I don't think they're prostitutes though. I think, and the show kind of like is playing with that. Like, are they prostitutes? Are they not? Like, what is prostitution? What is not prostitution? So there's a woman there who's also from the States who has a mysterious past. His buddies, the reporter's buddies at the newspaper are funny. There's just a lot of mystery around the Yakuza, and it makes me want to play the Yakuza games, by the way.
Well, you want to come over and play on the PS5? You've got a copy.
Guy, I got
At
all
least
these ones.
Well, we'll get you. No, because isn't Yakuza the not the prequel to the one that I reviewed? Isn't that on Game Pass?
Yeah, I think
Like
the
a
whole
Dragon
franchise. I think the whole franchise is on Game Pass besides that new one, Infinite Wealth. Yeah. So I'm digging that. I'm gonna try and catch up so I can watch the finale here in a few weeks. I think it's like 3 weeks out. The other thing I got into, so I had a comedy show at a comic book store / bar the other night, and I wanted to support local business. So I bought some comics. You can't really read this one because it's in the wrapping. I got into this mini series. This is this is an Image comic called Gospel. This is from author and artist Will Morris, and this one kind of tells a tale of these 2 orphans that work for the church, and they're looking for this hammer to defeat the devil. And there's a lot about storytelling and like who tells what stories and what elements survive in a story, what elements don't. There's like different timelines and different people telling stories within those timelines. It's only 5 issues, and my only issue with it is I only bought 1 through 4, so I have to hunt down 5 somewhere. I went back today to see if they had the 5th one. They do not, so I'm gonna have to do a little more hunting. But blazed through that, and then I picked up a new series, a new hero series from Image as well. This is from, was it Kyle Higgins, I believe. This is Radiant Black. This is kind of Image, like this started a few years after Invincible ended their run of Invincible, and it's kind of been heralded as, oh hey, this is gonna be our new thing, like new kid on the block, do this. Follows a writer moving home from LA after getting like $40,000 worth of debt and not having a way to pay for it. He can't, like, his book is nowhere near done. So he moves back home with his parents, and then after drinking with a buddy one night, finds like this superpower, this thing that gives him superpowers, and it goes from there. I'm 5 issues in, and I think I am hooked. This is volume 1 that has issues 1 through 6. There's like 2 or 3 others of these, but also it's a big like not multiverse series, but there are multiple versions of this hero. I think they're kind of doing a play on Power Rangers with this, kind of like how Invincible was a coming of age, like, hey, Superman sucks. Here's a coming of age, like being Superman's kid. I think this is going to be hey, it's not really that cool to be part of like a super group, a super space group or whatever. I like that stuff. I don't
There's
need
a
a whole.
manga or there's an anime coming out that you might like then. Um, it's basically what if the Power Rangers were bad type scenario. Like you're like one of the Claymen basically, and the main character goes in and infiltrates the group to basically take them down from the inside.
Josh, what if I told you the Power Rangers were always bad?
Were they, Nick?
I don't know. I'm lying. The other thing I've had this book since Christmas. I've been meaning to get into it. I'm finally reading Doom Guy about John Romero over there. He's the Doom Guy. So, gonna get in some history here. From what I've heard, John Romero's got a really good memory. So there's gonna be a lot of chunky bits in here. So I'm gonna read this throughout the coming weeks. Hey, maybe I'll share some interesting bits from Doom Guy. So
Maybe
a lot
we'll
of
make a
reading,
bit out of it.
a lot of reading, a lot of watching over here. What'd you say?
So maybe we'll make a bit out of it.
Oh, how we come back
A
like,
bit
Nick,
out of your bits.
what have you read from Doom Guy? Like, not
Nick,
fucking
how far
shit.
did you make it? How far did you make in it?
Not fucking shit, man.
I got to page 3.
I mean,
Isn't
once I get through this backlog of reviews, I am free Bumblebee for a while because things will slow down. I'm not reviewing Dragon's Dogma 2. I refuse.
Is it on the list?
I don't think it's on there.
Oh god, you're gonna make me look real quick now.
I'm looking right now. I don't think Dragon's Dogma 2 is, but I told myself at the beginning of the year, you were not taking that fucking review, dude.
I mean, I'm sure somebody's already asked to have it.
Well, and I
They
think
had to have.
so. I've got a review copy of Wolong Fallen Dynasty Complete Edition, but it runs like complete shit. So I'm giving the game some time to get like its act cleaned up before I sit down and get going with it. Otherwise, like these other 3 that I've got, I can sit down and knock out 2 of these like tonight, just because I've spent that much time with them. I almost said one. I almost said the one that I can't say.
You don't want to do that, Nick. Now you got a list.
We caught me. All right, Josh. I'm gonna pass it on to you. What have you been playing, doing, reading? Do it, man.
I'm not a reader. The only reading I hear is the audiobooks my wife listens to, and it's all smut. So we're going to go ahead and leave it as that. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm still in Costa del Sol. Just basically doing all the side stuff right now. You know, going through all the towers, getting all the big materia areas. I forget what they call them technically, but it's basically big materias where you scan them.
Hanging out on the beach.
Shrines. Hanging out on the beach. Longing to be in the game so I can be with my waifus, all of them. I know it makes Nick just so disappointed to know that I want a waifu.
You're a bad gamer. Josh has been Josh won't stop talking about something called Sweet Baby Inc. And I'm like, Josh, I don't care.
I don't even know what that is.
It's all the Gamergate stuff. We don't have. We're not going to touch.
Yeah, let's not do that. Been spreading democracy. Helldivers 2. I haven't as much this week just because it's been a chaotic week of finishing up review and honestly playing my next game with all of the kids, Project Zomboid.
Okay, so I looked because I saw you and Matt talking, and Jake also like talking about this game blowing up, and I looked at it, and it kind of looks like crap. It kind of is.
Originally it came out. I think it's 2012.
So yeah, I was looking. I was like, this. First of all, this game looks old. Second of all,
it is.
Second of all, it seems like it's like The Sims but with zombies.
Kind of, sorta. Remember 7 Days to Die?
Faintly.
Okay, so just zombie sandbox, but in this case, it's over the top, and there's a shit ton of mods to it. A big community. You can rent servers, which is what we did. So we have our own private server that we all play on. It's basically no matter what, at the end of the day, you're gonna die. You're gonna turn into a zombie. But the whole niche of it is this is your story of how you turn into a zombie, how you die.
Mm.
So every time, like, and when you die, you don't like come back and do your own thing. It's no, you're dead. You have to create a whole new character
Okay,
and
so
start from scratch.
it's permadeath.
It's permadeath.
Okay. Now, like when you start a new character, like is your character who's become a zombie like in that world?
Yeah, he's a zombie.
And you can like if you
You
had a
can
bunch
go,
of loot, you can go back to where he was based and like
yep, and yep, you can find him, kill him, get your loot back, and basically like work from scratch. And you have different jobs. You could be unemployed, which just gives you extra points for traits, which could be both beneficial and negative. Like for example, you could have cat's eyes, meaning you can see better at nighttime.
because you're unemployed and all you do is play video games at night, so your
Yeah,
eyes are like
exactly.
trained
Well,
for it.
but you could say that, or it could be you could have like a weak stomach, meaning anytime you eat bad food, like uncooked food or raw food or even spoiled food, you have a chance of getting illness easily. Or you could be bitten or scratched and become infected easier, or much easier compared to normal stats. So there's tons in there to play around with, different ways, tons of mods, a huge community. I mean, literally, I think we have like 17, 18 mods right now attached to this game.
So is that the big thing for is the mod thing big in this game? Because I'm trying to what's the State of Decay comes to mind, and I feel like that was really popular. Does that not have like a multiplayer aspect to it?
What, State of Decay?
Yeah.
State of Decay 2 did. But it just, because of how the first one was and all the DLC that came out, and they promised it was going to be multiplayer and it wasn't, pissed people off. So State of Decay 2, I think, kind of fell through the cracks. I've heard it's good. I've never actually played it myself.
They really missed an opportunity of not like going like upping the ante every time. Like here's State of Decay, here's Country of Decay, here's World of Decay.
International Decay, baby.
It just like the 28 days, weeks, years, all that shit.
Yeah. Which I would love to see a 28 years later. That'd be cool.
They're working on 28 months. I think. I
Oh,
think
that's right. No, they did days, then they did weeks. Now it's months.
I think they finally have a script going. I think Cillian Murphy's supposed to be coming back, but I think that was all announced
Ooh.
before all the Oscar stuff. So who knows? Before he was Oppenheimer.
I mean, I'm just still upset the way they ended 48 weeks later.
I just I didn't like 28 weeks later. I thought it just felt very
Or 28, I said 48, sorry.
yeah 48. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Dude, I'm tired.
It felt I don't know. It was an okay
I mean,
movie. It was completely different, which is fine. There's a very young Jeremy Renner in it, by the way.
yes.
Very very young.
I mean, the way they started, I think was really good. With, the wife coming in, you find out, spoiler for what was it, a 15-year-old movie?
It's old at this point. I think the movie it has a very strong opening, like with people like trying to live life.
Oh yeah, I
with
mean, like
everything
one of
going
the
on.
most memorable openings ever, of them being flooded by them in the house and then having to run by boat.
Yeah,
Very one
him
of those, like, what the fuck is going on?
very very hectic, and then the rest of the movie just kind of sits still.
Well, so then I think it sits still when it's like, it's time has passed. They've started clearing out sections, and then they bring the wife in, and then it starts the infection all over again. That whole part right there was like, holy shit! Like, that was cool. Like, they definitely picked up the pace again. But then
I think
after they escape the area, where they're keeping everybody safe, the safe zone, I think after that's when it started to slow down again, and it stayed slow for the rest of the movie.
I think my issue with the weeks is that it took the weakest part of days, which is the back half of days where they're at the military base,
Mm-hmm.
and said, "What if we did that but longer?"
Yeah. Less rapey.
I mean, yeah, it's less rapey, but I don't know how to follow you up with that.
It was just that's it
But
was a
no,
thing. They were going to do that.
it's what if we took the piece where the military is coming in and supposed to be the good guys, but what if we made that a majority of the movie and then we just watch it all falter, which is like, well, we kind of had that at the end of one. Do we really need that repeated beat? And I get
Well,
it, complete different strokes for different folks. The guys in the first one, very bad guys, very bad intentions for the people that they rescued. Uh, these guys in the second one,
it's the
they seem
Americans. They
fine.
came over. Well, yeah, it was the Americans. They came over to basically start clearing things out because they were studying it and then helping everybody who did escape come back to their normal lives and
I
try to
just
reintroduce the population to it.
I just had a bad experience with it in high school. There was a bootlicker in high school that was very hoorah, like ride or die for the military. Said Semper Fi without even stepping foot in the military.
Jesus.
And he told me that he liked 28 weeks later better than days. And I was like, well, you are fucking dumb.
Yeah, that's fucking weird. Moving on. We're just going to move on past that. But Project Zomboid, highly recommend. It's a really fun game. It's $20. Yeah, I know it's a 12-year-old game, but still, give it a try. Tons to do in there. Great community. No one's going to call you and say they're going to do stuff to your mom. So,
The normal online experience.
yes.
What's Strider?
Strider. You play as a Strider. I believe his name is Ryu, actually. So the first time I was ever really introduced to him, as far as my basic memory goes, probably Marvel versus Capcom. He is the guy with the ninja with the purple outfit with the red cape.
So wait, this is a Street Fighter tied game?
Street Fighter? I don't think so.
Strider. Well, you said Ryu.
Well, I think his name is Ryu, but he is a Strider.
Okay, this looks familiar.
Yeah, like you'll see it. Like you'll see him, and you'll just be like, "That looks very familiar." That's like the most reminiscent thing I can come up with is Marvel versus Capcom. Because I'm pretty sure he's started it out in 2, if not at least 3 for sure.
So how do you
Anyway, I
like it?
digress. Really good. It's basically a Metroidvania, but with ninjas.
Okay. That's all you had to say.
And it's in the future. You're fighting security. You're fighting what appears to be Russian security forces, trying to kill your old master. I believe is the whole premise, because he's betrayed the order.
Okay.
Yeah, just a side game I'm playing when I'm not killing zombies or saving the world from Sephiroth. And this is where we take a weird turn. Remember how a couple weeks ago when I said I'm really getting into trophy hunting again, or achievement hunting in general?
Yeah, it's the worst quality.
Yeah, I know. So I started picking up all the old PS3 games that, for the most part, had just single player trophies, since all the servers are gone for PlayStation.
So I'm seeing God of War Ascension here, and if memory, this is the one with the sad trailer that has an Ellie Goulding song, and
Yes.
it's a little girl running up the hill to her dad, who is Kratos, and he lifts her up, and he's very happy, but the song is very sad, so you know some shit's about to go down, and she like melts down into ash in his hands.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very good ad. It's a very, very good ad, I will say.
It is. For at least for those who've played every God of War up to that point.
This Kratos guy's probably not worked out to be a dad.
Yeah. So this is set pretty much right after the deed is done.
Oh, everything with Ares?
No. Like right after he kills his family. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. He kills his family because the deal is done with Ares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much set like right after he's trying to break his deal with Ares, and the Furies are like, yeah, no, you can't do that. If you're going to basically be imprisoned and tortured for all eternity for it. And it's him basically going like, no, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And it literally starts with you being slashed up really bad, and you taking one of the chains, attaching it to the Fury, and just beating the shit out of her until you can get your other arm free. And then it's you climbing up this huge multi-armed weird face looking thing. I can't remember what they called it exactly. I literally just did it today.
Well, the rest of the game is you looking for the other two Furies, right? And then like trying to break their fate thing.
Yeah, basically you're just trying to break the fate that's been placed on you from the beginning of time, and you're getting help from somebody. I had only seen him once so far, and I'm not sure as far as what his mythos is. He didn't really give his name or everything, but he is the reason Kratos was able to escape the Furies.
I'm trying to remember. 'Cause I think this one ends with you. It essentially ends where the first game begins. Like you're on a boat.
Yeah, because you're heading towards Ares, because you end up working with the other gods, and they're like, "Yeah, Ares is an asshole. We're gonna go ahead and just have you kill him now.
They're like, yeah, fuck that guy. Here, ride
Fuck
this.
that guy."
But you know what? If they, and I don't remember the ending that well, but if they put you on this boat, but the boat gets attacked by a Hydra, so it kind of feels like the gods are setting you up from the beginning.
Well, so was it? I think it's either Chains of Olympus or Ghost of Sparta, whichever one it is. One of them is centered like around the whole concept of why Zeus is trying to even kill you, and it's because it's been prophesized that one of his children will try to kill him when you find out that you have a brother, and Zeus mistakes him as for being the killer, so he tries to basically kill him, and eventually does. But come to find out, it's actually Kratos who kills him.
Man, that whole Greek run of God of War games is great. I haven't played
I
any of
will,
the Nordic ones, so I need to jump
I've
back
only
into.
played, yeah, I've only played the first Nordic. I have the second that I borrowed from the library, and I haven't even touched it yet. But I was like, you
Fucking
know what?
library.
I want to go back. Yeah, great library.
Great fucking library.
The only thing I don't like about this one is it's so much different compared to all the rest of them as far as that I've played. There's not the normal move sets. The magic is a little different, and even though it's basically what appears to be built on the God of War 3 engine, or at least what they are using for God of War 3, it feels really sluggish.
I'm trying to remember. This was 20. So I was in college. I was in the room to the right, not the room to the left. So that would have been 2011 or 2012.
I want to say it was 2012 because it was like right at the end of the PS3 life cycle. They didn't even
Mm,
try to port it over to PS4.
mm.
What actually blew my mind as I was going through it, did you know you could play or attach your PS Vita to the PS3?
Mhm.
I didn't know that. I thought it was only PS4.
I think I know that because someone had, not anyone I know, but I remember hearing someone talking about like playing like MLB The Show with their PS3, whatever year
Yeah,
that was.
I didn't know you could do that. I was just like, I was sitting there, I was like going through just like the settings, trying to mess with some stuff, and I saw attach your PS Vita. I'm like, wait, what? So you know what I'm gonna have to do? I'm gonna have to pull my PS Vita out of the care package and hook that bad boy
I
up.
keep forgetting you have one of those. What's this last game that you've got on here?
Ah, my last game. This is the game I was reviewing, and I was on embargo. Now it's free because it's out. Outcast: A New Beginning.
I've been sitting here thinking the whole time this is that new Outlast game that just came out.
I've done that several times. Every time someone, like every time Mark reached out to me and said Outcast, that was my first thing. I was like, oh wait, I was like, am I about to get murdered? And I was like, oh yeah, no, it's a totally different game.
You wrote the whole review for Outlast, and you're like, oh no, I didn't even play Outlast. What the fuck?
Son of a bitch. No, so this one is so it was developed. This is where I get mixed up. It was. I have to pull it up now because I'm gonna fuck it up because I did this last time I was talking about it to Mark. Josh can't spell. He dumb.
Josh is filling my podcast editing time with white
Yes, developed
noise.
by Appeal Studios, published by THQ Nordic.
Okay.
It is the sequel to the originally released on PC under Outcast, and then I think it got re-released under Xbox, and then re-released for the PS4 and Xbox One. I don't know why, and I've been sitting here for the longest time because for some odd reason, the character, his name's Slade Cutter, or yeah, it's Sergeant Cutter Slade, I think is his full name or full title. For some odd reason, every time I kept looking at him when I'm running around, I'm like, this looks so familiar, and I don't know why. And then it hit me. I was thinking of Jedi Survivor.
Does he look just like the Jedi Survivor?
No,
guy?
it's just the orange color on his back. For some odd reason, I just kept getting like this weird, like, what's going on that it makes me think of like another game. And then it hit me as I was watching videos. It's like, oh, it's Survivor. And I don't know why that took so long for me to think about it, but it just kept bothering me because I'm like, this just looks so familiar. Essentially, it's an open world adventure. You are Cutter. You're basically trying to figure out, first off, where the fuck you're at because you don't know where you're at or how you got there. And in the process, you're trying to also help the civilization that's there from an outside invader, which come to find out is at least humans. You're not sure why they're attacking them though. But it's very open world. You can basically go wherever you want at any point. There are some things that are limited to based on what abilities you have. Like you get a jetpack, that you eventually upgrade to be able to like double jump, eventually be able to glide, stuff like that. You've got a shield, a little melee, which is just the shield bash essentially, or a shield cut, and then you've got multiple different weapons that has a cool little modding system where you can attach all these different mods to make cool combinations. The one I have now is my pistol with a stun, or if I hit them in the head, I get this like 3 or 4 times, it stuns them. But I also have a repeater on it, so I can shoot it like a machine gun. And then I have a shotgun that, or it's a rifle that I turn into a shotgun basically, so I can shoot long distance with a wider spread.
I mean, you said a lot, and all I keep thinking of is, oh, this is a Ubisoft open world game.
I mean, not wrong.
It's giving me that vibe, and from the few screenshots of it I've seen.
My only like pet peeve the whole entire time is the lip syncing.
Oh, is it bad?
I mean, with him, the main character, it's so bad. The rest of the characters, I don't really notice it, and they actually sound and look really good. But every time he talks, I notice it, and I'm like, oh, this is super annoying. That and I don't know if it's just because of him talking or whoever his voice actor is just talking. I think it's awful. I think his writing is awful. Everybody else so far that I've interacted with has actually been decent.
You didn't get any of my lip reading on that, did you?
No, I was watching you the whole time. You distracted me a little bit there. All in all, like I said, not a terrible game. I wouldn't, rush
how much is
immediately
it?
to go $60 right off the bat.
All right. I mean, Josh, I only have $60. I have to decide between buying Outcast: A New Beginning or feeding my family. What am I doing?
Feed your family. Take care of the kids.
We should start reviewing games that way. Hey, all I've got is $15. Should I buy this game or feed my family?
Yeah, fuck your family. Go spend the $15. They can go down to the whole food pantry.
Okay, here's my review of Balatro. Josh, ask me the question.
Nick, how much does it cost?
No, it's $14.99 on Steam.
Okay, Nick. $15. That's all you have. Do you feed your family or do you buy it?
Well, I think you take a long look at your family and you listen for any bellies that are rumbling, and then you ignore them and buy Balatro because it's a really good game, and it's going to feed your entertainment need for a while.
Well, Nick, thank you for that answer. We definitely have that on record. We're going to go ahead and pass it over to CPS.
My kids are well fed. Just in case anyone's listening to this out of context, like, oh my God,
this is a fucking monster.
That guy's starving his kids for a run-based poker game. He's a great dad.
It's not even that good. He gave it a 4 out of 10. He said, "Go buy it."
Balatro is great. Every week from now on, we're gonna have do I buy this game or do I feed my family? And that'll be the ultimate indicator for the video games. Josh, you have some news for us.
Read all about it. Latest football scores. Morning paper. Morning Star. Paper, mister?
It's time for old news.
Yes, I do.
All right.
So, yeah, thanks to J. Brody Shuri over at Game Rant for this article. For those who are living underneath a rock, the Spider-Man multiplayer game got canceled, and we got a trailer leaked out. And I'm not gonna lie, it looked fucking awesome.
So the fascinating thing about this is now the second live game that we're aware of from Sony being canceled. There was this, and there was the Last of Us 2 multiplayer that had been being worked on for a while. And I think it's fascinating that, so the timeline is Sony commits to these games, Sony buys Bungie, who's like live service gurus at this point. I'm air quoting really hard because Destiny is not anything to like be like, oh, really impressed by. But they buy Bungie for that reason. They have them come in and consult on these multiplayer games. Naughty Dog, dead. I mean, their multiplayer game dead. This multiplayer game dead. So I think it's fascinating that Sony, got the consultation they were looking for, and realized, oh, hey, our top dogs that we have do these single player games wouldn't have as much time to do those if we committed to this.
So ironically, what I think they're actually doing is they'll bring in their experts, and they'll go, so what do you think of everything that they have written in front of you? And if they're like, oh yeah, this looks great, this is something we would totally do, somebody just cuts the plug right there. Like, yeah, you guys fucked this up with. I mean, look at Destiny right now. It's in the worst shape it could possibly be. The fans are pissed. We're gonna go and fucking pull the plug really quick. If they're willing to do it this, yeah, no, bye.
The person from Bungie comes in. They're like, we like this, but there's too much story in it. Can you put the story in an app that they can access later? Can you just have a wiki? Can you just have a
update
wiki?
it after the first season? Yeah, great, fantastic.
They're like, oh, hey, is that Peter Dinklage voicing that character? Can we change
Fuck
that?
that guy.
It doesn't sound like this is completely dead. It sounds like this might be like,
It's like a standstill at least. It's put it on the back shelf. It may or may not get dust on it. We'll see.
well, and the fact that this came out with the leak back in December, and now it's being reported on here in the middle of March, kind of has me feeling like, oh, like Sony wants to know where the interest is for this, because they're like elbowing Marvel, like, hey, you guys got a shit ton of different costumes for all these characters. Skins, you guys, skins.
Fortnite. But yeah, thank you, Jay Brody Shuri, for that information. We appreciate that. Let me. Oh. Okay, sorry. My computer decided it was going to bounce on me. Earlier this week we got news of the new Super Mario movie that's being animated. We've got this over at Game Informer. It's by Brian Shee. So apparently it's announced right now for a release in 2026, and it's not going to be a sequel.
Yeah, Miyamoto, there's a quote in here, thinking of broadening Mario's world further. I read that and I was like, oh, they're going to put Link in this shit. It's going to be like it's going to be their on-ramp for like Smash Brothers, like multimedia.
I was going to say the Nintendo Cinematic Universe, the NCU.
Yeah, like it won't tie into the Zelda movie that they're doing, but it will work in Link, like an alternate Link that's like a goofball.
And I think they're even in talks right now of doing a Donkey Kong movie as well. I'm not sure if that's in the work. They say it's in the works. I'm not sure where it is going to be in this continuity, but
I don't know if I see that hit. No, I don't see. I think Mario and Zelda are like the only two they can really like do movies for and get away with it. Anything else, I'm like Donkey Kong. Not like anyone who really loves Donkey Kong is really just a Mario fan.
All I'm saying is I want my Metroid movie. Damn it, we've been promised that for years.
It's not gonna happen.
I know it's not.
A Splinter Cell or a Metal Gear Solid movie will happen before a Metroid movie.
Honestly, I would definitely love to get a Splinter Cell.
I
love the books. I love the games. Like, give me that.
It's been rumored. I mean, it's been rumored for a while. Like, remember, I think it was Chaos Theory had like a teaser trailer for the movie that you could just select and play, and it was just like it was essentially just the light going on, and then Splinter Cell movie. Josh, it's been 20. Josh, it's been 20 years. It's been 20 years. Let it go.
When are we getting our movie? God damn it!
Let it go. It's past. It's past.
As long as Seth Rogen, as long as Chris Pratt isn't voicing the characters, we're good.
Chris Pratt is Samus Aran. What if there was someone that's like, hey, can we get Chris to play like who didn't know that Samus Aran was a woman? They're like, yeah, he'd play a really good Sheamus.
God damn it.
Yeah. Chris Pratt is Sheamus Aran.
No, you know who it's going to be, just unironically? Jennifer Lawrence.
You know what? But she doesn't really talk too much in the movie, so I could see. You know what? It's going to be Anya Taylor-Joy. She's going to.
I'd be okay with that.
This Mad Max movie is going to come out, and it's going to show her range, and folks are going to be like, put her in more sci-fi. Get her in the Metroid movie.
I'm not going to lie. Everything she's been in, I've thought she's been fantastic. I would honestly love to see her try it.
I really liked her in the Menu. I really, really liked her in the Menu.
Oh, it's fantastic in the Menu.
Yeah, so this movie comes out about 2 years. It'll be okay. It'll be all right. A bunch of grown-ups will be mad about it, but remember, it's for kids.
I wonder if they're going to do the ploy. It's let's see. So technically, 2 was the dream, that Mario's having.
Josh,
Three is just the play on one. I'm just saying.
We're getting way too deep. Nobody knows what the fuck is going on in the Mario 2 game, Super Mario World, or whatever
no one
the fuck it's
does.
called.
Hey, they were all high. Okay, they were on the high success of the number one. So like, let's go. Let's do number two.
I'm talking about you, Josh. You're like, well, in 2 they had the dream stuff. Like, no, but no.
Well, no,
no,
it was
no.
2 was Mario was having a dream, and 3 is just it's like a theatrical production of what happened in 1.
They're going to do, yes, Mario's beloved, but they're going to riff on more of the 3D stuff this time around. I feel like Mario goes to the Peach or the Princess Peach's castle, and she's not there, and he's got to find her and all that stuff.
Honestly, I'm just more excited for Sonic 3.
Hey, they got Jim Carrey to come out of retirement, so I am excited for that.
Hey, well, exactly. They brought a god, and they convinced him to come back into this world. I'm happy.
Let's not turn the man into a god. What else you got?
Multiverses already has a split fan base. This is the Gamer article by Rhiannon Bevan, and I'm sorry if I butchered that name because I probably definitely did. So there have been, of course, the trailers that have come out, and it's definitely split the fan base because they're like, okay, well, some of them are like excited because they want Multiverses back, they enjoyed it, what it was, and all the stuff. And then you have a bunch of other people like, okay, well, you basically just showed us like everything that we've already played and done and whatnot. Like, there's nothing new here. Like, what the hell? What have you been doing for the past year?
Well, it's like we were playing last time we played Helldivers with Jake. I told him like the game will either get re-released in March or they'll say something in March because it's end of fiscal year. So they're like, oh shit, yeah, this is still alive. Start buying skins, you fuckers. Help me with this.
It's gonna fail.
So sorry to the audio listeners, there's a picture here of Rick attacking Jake the dog, and it looks like they're in the Bat Cave, but there's a T-Rex in the background. Does the Bat Cave have a T-Rex in it? I know Bruce Wayne has money.
So it's where he keeps all his rogue gallery weapons. So he's got that. There's the giant Abraham Lincoln penny. There is a bunch of like the giant Joker head that's in the Jack in the Box. There's a bunch of stuff. Nick, just go back and watch the animated series. All of it's there. I promise you.
It's a very big cave network. I'd be worried about that.
He's Batman, of course. Nick, he's a billionaire. Of course, he has a huge ass cave.
Does Gotham get a lot of earthquakes?
No.
Suspicious.
A lot of psychos.
Suspicious. Well, this multiverses news. I mean, yeah. Some people are going to come back. Some aren't. The game.
Honestly, it's going to have a very similar outcome it did before. You already have a split fan base. It's going to do poorly, and they're either going to shut it down completely and piss off more people, or they're going to do the same thing. Oh, this was just another big beta test, guys. We're going to go and take it down and work on it for the next year.
I think you can't keep doing that, guys. I think this game will go, and then everyone will just go back to Smash and the far superior Nicktoon Fighter 2. And folks will also play the PlayStation 1 from PS3. It'll have a bigger player base. What's next, Josh?
Yes, moving down the list. Starbreeze CEO steps down. This is an article at IGN from Wesley Yin Poole.
So I saw this. So he steps down. The game made its money back a few weeks after launch, it sounds like. But it sounds like
very rocky. It was very rocky.
But it made its money back. It made its money back, and there were enough players playing, at least in the millions, and it sounds like it lost a lot of them. But what I'm hearing is the game wasn't not profitable. The game just wasn't where they wanted it to be.
He basically admits like, hey, yeah, we did a terrible job. Like we didn't plan for every scenario. We basically just went and going like, oh, this is gonna be great. And obviously it was very rocky. The fact that they made their money back was a miracle.
For those wondering, Starbreeze is owned by Embracer Group, the lovely Embracer Group. But no, so it reminds me a lot of Square Enix and again, I think it's awesome that a CEO is held accountable for once in their life. It should happen more. But also, I'm looking at this, I'm seeing Embracer Group. I'm reminded of Square Enix when they still owned Eidos and other Western companies. And they're like, oh, Tomb Raider did okay. Didn't do what we projected it to do, though.
Hitman was their only bread and butter at the time.
No, I remember them even complaining about Hitman. Like, Hitman did okay. Didn't get where we wanted it to go.
Well, that's because it
So-
wasn't getting Final Fantasy numbers, Nick. Once you get Final Fantasy numbers, you know you've made it with them.
No, because they had Final Fantasy, and they're like,
Nick,
this is
we're
our
talking
bre-
about the same. We're talking about the same group that said Final Fantasy 13 was one of the best Final Fantasies out there. I'm gonna say you're a fucking liar. That was the worst one out there.
I mean, they're not going to say they made it. No one's ever going to say they made a bad game. But when you have those external offices, you're going to put more of the blame on the external offices and not,
yeah, of course.
and not your golden goose. You're not going to be like Final Fantasy. Oh, Deus Ex. Deus Ex is another like victim of Square Enix's. It did okay. Not what we thought it would.
It did fantastic, and you're a bunch of assholes for selling it.
But then Final Fantasy 15 comes out, and I don't think that one did the numbers that it should have. And they're like, we're okay. It's okay, guys.
They experimented way too hard on the open world concept.
Had the best looking food though. Yeah,
Agreed.
sounds like Payday 3 is still a little rocky.
It is, and there's still a bunch of things I need to work on. Like I loved Payday 2. Absolutely loved it. Hated the weird spin-off that they did where it was like World War II. Like that shit was a little weird. Like I'm not gonna go back and play that at all. But I was disappointed in 3, and I want 3 to be better. I want them to do better.
Looking here, according to Steam database, Payday 3 has a 24-hour peak of just 378 players compared to Payday 2's 31,866. Now, if you remember, Payday 2 was in a state of decay. Look what I did there when it came out. It was a hot mess when it came out. I remember people that was like a popular game to bitch about being broken, to dump on, rightfully so. And I think it's Company of Heroes all over again. It's the third game comes out, it's okay, and then a lot of the players that really like 2 were like, this sucks shit. We're going back to 2.
I mean, I remember hopping on. I think it was a couple years ago, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna play with a random person. And they were like on the hardest difficulty. They were like almost completely maxed out and everything. And I'm like, and it's not like an easy game to max out. You literally have to play like the best game you possibly can every fucking time and play the hardest difficulty to be that quick about it. He only had like 500 hours in it, and he was almost maxed out completely.
Well, and that sucks shit because you're just like, I want to play, like, it's a PvE, it's not a PvP. And it's I think it's kind of like Helldivers, like the people who are min-maxing Helldivers, like, you have to do this load, we have to be perfect. And my brain always goes to, guys, the bugs don't give a shit. The bugs are little computer
They're gonna die in a
peoples.
way.
We can make this fun. We don't have to make this perfect. Let's make it fun.
The only opinions that matter are the automatons. That's just because they're sending out weird broadcasts to everybody saying like, "Hey, what are we gonna do after we take over Earth? We're gonna leave. They're basically just gonna let you live your life, unlike what you're doing to us. You're destroying us and just conquering everything and not letting us live. We're going to destroy you and then let you live." Terrifying and yet beautiful at the same time.
I'm kind of into it. Come destroy us.
Have you seen those broadcasts?
No, I haven't played in like a week.
So they're like literally, if you're on like an automaton planet, if you sit in your ship long enough, you'll start to catch all these broadcasts, and like you'll hear like them talk and talk to you and say this is what they're going to do. There's even one that's even creepier. You're sitting in your ship and you're hearing one of the Helldivers, and they're like, "Hey, command, I found the target, but he's just standing there." And he's talking about Joel, the secret dungeon master.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Wait a minute, he's looking right at me. What is he writing on that paper? But behind you, what do you mean?" And then it just cuts off. Like he got killed.
I think Joel's doing some really good work there.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I'm pumped for our talk.
I'm excited.
I'm excited. There's so much I want to know. Like, god damn, this is fucking awesome. I love lore. Anyway, we're gonna move past all that. We got one more, which also is really fucking cool and blew my mind. Halo 2 multiplayer on Xbox, OG Xbox, is alive. Got this article from Game Rant. It's written by Daniel Morris. Essentially, it's a fan project that revived the multiplayer, and not just like you have to do special things to do it. Like, no, literally, you can go back and see your old friends list. You can go back and see your clans list. You can go back and play all the original modes that were on there up until 2004. Like,
So it's on. So I guess you have to go through the insignia service, right?
yes. So yeah, you do have to do a little bit of tweaking, of course. But as far as like anything with your Xbox, no. Like, just I mean, it's awesome. Like, I watched videos of this guy like just going through it, and it really it hit home. It made me think of the good old days, Nick, when we would go home, plug in all of our controllers, hop into some shoddy snipers, and we'd have you with the Mentor that had the little box that you had the triggers on each side to be able to talk.
Oh,
Remember
I
that?
hated that thing. I hated
I
that
hated
thing.
it. I hated that thing too, but that brings back so many memories.
I read two pieces here of this article that made me feel old. The online for Halo 2 shut down 14 years ago. And I remember where I was because I think I was in our basement. And I remember the news stories were reporting like, hey, we still got 7 people on there and they're going to keep their Xboxes on and keep going. And like one by one.
I think the PC lasted longer. I think they had like 500 people show up and they're like all playing consistently.
And then the other thing that had me feeling old in this article, Master Chief Collection, the troubled Master Chief Collection, speaking of troubled games, came out in 2014.
Nick, are we old?
We've officially crossed into our 30s, so yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're not old. We're old in numbers, but not old in spirit.
It's just, I mean, I just reminisce over all the old stuff. I mean, from watching the server come back to life to I even remember getting our Xbox 360 and chatting on those little white headsets.
Mm-hmm.
I even remember the little wireless one.
Oh, that thing hurt my ears.
Oh, it hurt so bad. We had to remember when we finally gave up on it and we just bought the black one, which was so much better, the improved one.
Yeah, it was like it didn't have the little thing hanging off, so it didn't add the extra weight to your ear.
It makes me feel so old just reminiscing over this stuff because it's like, damn, it wasn't that long ago. It really wasn't.
I mean, I look at Gears of War and I'm like, man, that game turns 20 in a few years.
Ah, dude, I still remember playing Gears of War 2 with everybody that summer. That's the only game we played.
That was, yeah, it was like almost a whole year of Gears of War 2. While everyone else is playing World at War and like drooling over zombies and everything, we were like, no, Horde
Gears
mode,
of War
baby.
2. Yep.
Horde mode. If you can
I
go play Halo 2, go play Halo 2, everybody. Why not?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've got my original Xbox sitting right here. I've got all the cords. I got a controller. All I have to do is find my. I think Matt has the copy of Halo 2. I might go ask him to send it to me.
I mean, you probably find a copy for a few bucks.
Oh, I guess I get that retro game store down the street. Oh, I was gonna tell you, I also got that. There's a comic book store down the street from us too.
What's it called?
I have to pull up the name.
Is it Comic Book Guy? I've heard it might be
No.
Comic Book Guy.
I
But also,
think it
don't
is,
dox yourself on the show, sir.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to tell you on the show. I'll tell you afterwards. But
Okay. I saw, like, I was looking and there was a place called Comic Book Guy, and I was like, this is what we're calling it. This is what we're calling it.
I don't think that's it. But I'll look it up and I'll let you know for sure.
All right. Hey, Josh, you got a meme for us?
Me time.
Oh yeah, I sure do. It's not so much game related, but I thought it was ironically funny. So any of those who remember Jimmy Neutron, once again we're gonna feel old. It's when Sheen is showing off his Ultralord, but instead it's the American flag over Sheen's face, and it's got TikTok in his hand, and it's saying, "This will ban TikTok," or "This bill will ban TikTok." And then it's the teacher going, U.S. government, this is the 7th week in a row you've introduced a means to ban TikTok. Because he just always brings it up. Like, it's just a joke. I feel old, damn it. This week has made me feel old.
I can never see a character from Jimmy Neutron without trying to, like... I can hear the voice in my head, so, like... Sheen, this is the 7th week in a row you've introduced a means to ban TikTok. I went Adam Sandler there at the end. I can't hold it, but...
And then I just remember it sounds like a fucking parakeet trying to talk.
And I think of Carl like, oh, Jimmy's mom, can we do science stuff in Jimmy's room? He had the hots for Jimmy's mom.
Oh yeah, he wanted her bad.
Oh, Jimmy's mom.
But yeah, that's your local U.S. government. They don't, unless they own it, they want nothing to do with it.
Oh, Josh, thanks for the meme. I'm going to do Carl the rest of the night now. Hey, we're going to finish up with some emails real quick. I pulled a few here. We'll maybe do one or two. Yeah, I didn't plan a third section, so I was like, let's fucking pull some emails. We've got some stragglers here. This one comes in from Tom. Tom didn't say where he was from. If you guys could put like, a state or something or your full address so we can dox you on the show, that would be great. Tom wants to know, what is our favorite piece of gaming media that isn't a game? So I'm guessing like, is it maybe a movie or a book? And I already have an answer. Do you have a go-to answer on this?
No, go ahead and do yours while I think about it.
So my favorite gaming related media that isn't a game would probably be the first 2 Gears of War books by Karen Travis. I think the first one is Aspho Fields, and the second one is is it Gates of Jacinto? I'm gonna look that up real quick. But the books take place after the first game. Actually, the first one takes place like in and like before and after it. You have some of Dom's brother. There's some really good battles. I think it was before the chainsaw, the Lancers. There's a character in there named Bernie, which is like an older lady who was introduced later on, I think in Gears 3. She's the old white lady with dreads, if you remember her from 3. But they make her like this badass who like, there's a point in, it's not Aspho Field. Oh, Jacinto's Remnant's the one that takes place right after 2. They've flooded Jacinto and they're looking for this lady. And I think Cole and Baird call her the Grub Lady because they think she looks like a locust. But there's a scene in the second book where like the city is flooding and she's holding on for dear life to a piece of debris. And there's a grub, there's a locust swimming towards her trying to hold on for dear life too, and it grabs her and she gets into a struggle with it, and there's a knife in play, and it's just a really good scene. And I think Karen Travis writes really good action, at least in those 2 books that I read. I haven't read anything since those 2. I think I had Anvil Gate and then just never read it, but I think she went on to do 2 or 3 more books. Let's see. Yeah, she did Anvil Gate. She did The Slab, which I think is about Marcus's time in that prison from the first one. And then Coalition's End. Oh, man. She did a lot of books for the series. Yeah. Jeez. Books. Let's see here. I'm on their wiki real quick. Aspho Fields, Jacinto's Remnant, Anvil Gate, Coalition's End, The Slab. Also by Karen Travis. Ascendance is the 6 Gears. Starting. Are they all by? It doesn't say. 2 novels written by Jason M. So yeah, I think she did. Yeah, okay. And then he did some Gears of War comic books that I actually read. I think last year, 2 years ago. One of them starring Ram, and it's like his come up. Him and it's like it features him and Scourge. Scourge is the priest. The priest from the second one with the dual chainsaws.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. Do you have a piece of gaming media that isn't a game?
I do.
What is it?
The Resident Evil books.
You are sick fuck.
No, hear me out. So, S.D. Perry, fantastic writer. She is fabulous. And I say that because she embraces what is Resident Evil and just adds so much more to it. So, for example, Nick, Resident Evil 1, just a real quick rundown. What literally happens within the first minute?
Within the first minute of Resident Evil 1?
First minute. Whether you're playing as Chris or Jill.
They discover Alpha Team's helicopter. They find a body. They get chased into the house, and then everybody separates.
Okay, so when you play as Jill, who's in the mansion with you?
It is Barry. It is Wesker. Like, who enters with you?
Yes, yeah.
It's just Barry and Wesker because Chris is gone at that point.
Okay, and then with Chris, who's in the... who enters with you?
It's just Jill and Wesker. Barry's missing.
Okay, so literally in the beginning, all 4 of them make it to the entrance. And it starts with they hear the gunshot. Chris goes to investigate by himself. He goes in, same scenario. You walk in, he sees the zombie, he backs off, and as soon as he turns around, there's another zombie. So basically, it starts off with he has to, like, he can't go back to the door he went through. He has to go around. So he basically goes to the other wing. And while this is going on, they hear his gunshot. So they go to, Jill and Barry go to investigate. And then it's the scenario of, okay, Barry sees the blood. He's going to look at it and investigate. Jill goes in and sees the zombie. And they go back to Wesker. Wesker's gone. And then the whole time it's them doing circles in the mansion around each other. with Wesker investigating the whole time, like watching him from the shadows.
So it does a good job of separating them.
It does a great job of separating them, but also showing that, hey, they're both in at the same time. There's nobody in that jail cell. Like, Jill doesn't find Chris in there, and Rebecca is already with Chris.
So I wonder, because in remake they have the murder hallway right by where you find Kenneth when he's eaten. The beige murder mirror hallway. I wonder if that came from the book.
I'm sure it did, because I'm not sure how he escaped. I forget. Like, it doesn't just explain exactly where he goes, but it does say he does get away. He does eventually find Rebecca. And the great thing is they each do their own. Like, they still do the all the puzzles, but it's so interesting. So, like, the room with the knights where you have to go and push the knights in a certain order and then press the button to bring the shelf door open so Joe can get one of the crests.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny. Jill is, if you've ever read her bio, so she's an her dad used to be like a master thief, and he taught her a bunch of stuff. So she's like the master of unlocking, basically, lockpicking, as Barry calls it. And she literally looks at the puzzle and goes, "Dad always said there's always an easier way. There's not just one way to do something." So she realizes that it's just glass that's holding it back. So rather than doing the puzzle, she literally just takes her gun, breaks the glass, and takes the fucking crest. It's like, that's the kind of shit that I love. It's like, it's so out of the box, but it's also like, realistically, yeah, why wouldn't you just do that? There's nothing that's going to stop you. Like, it's just glass. Break that shit.
She's Jill, the master lockpicker.
The master of unlocking.
The master of unlocking. You were almost at the
but they do so good. So on top of that, so you have they have Resident Evil 0, the 0 Hour. They have the first game, the Umbrella Conspiracy. You have Caliban Cove, which is Rebecca when she goes with the other like out-of-state STARS members to go investigate like the next local Umbrella facility, which is also being ran over. It's the same place that Hunk was trained.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have City of the Dead, which is Resident Evil 2. You have Underworld, which I forget what exactly. I think that's just like their own, like, this is a new like novel. Like, this is not based on a game or anything. Then there's Nemesis. Then there's Code Veronica. There's so much there to it. She's a fantastic writer, and she actually did a lot more than that. She also wrote books for like Alien versus Predator, a bunch of Alien books. I mean, literally, she's a fantastic writer. I highly recommend looking at all of her work.
I had one more quick answer.
What's that?
Arcane.
Oh, that's it's a good one. It's really good.
I'm not a big League guy, but Arcane is really good.
No, Arcane was so good. I'm ready for season 2. Honestly, nothing is gonna pass. Like, that was by far one of the best openings I've ever seen.
I think anything like the media around League of Legends, like players, I really loved players also.
Yeah, players was fan. That's have they announced that they're gonna do a season 2?
They're probably not. It's been long enough.
I figured, but it was so good. I thought it was, unironically, I thought it was funny, but I thought it was good too.
They could at least give us a DVD or a Blu-ray or something, some kind of.
Give us a script.
You know what?
I'll read the script.
I'm gonna hunt down those scripts. I'm gonna find them.
I'm sure they exist.
I'm gonna find them. I'm gonna find all 10 of them because those should be cherished. Another question here. This one's kind of related. This one comes in from Terry in St. Louis. Hey, a local guy. Local guy. You guys pull a lot from The Gamer, IGN, and some other sites. Do you have a favorite gaming site that you like to go to read news or just to waste time in general? I do. So I used to do a lot of Giant Bomb. Like, I was a subscriber for a while, and then right around the time Jeff left, I subscribed for like a few more months, and I was just like, I mean, since I write for Hard Drive, I do read a lot of Hard Drive articles. IGN I like to go to for reviews. I always like to see what the people are saying, what the movers and goers are talking about. I'll check the front page of Kotaku and Polygon every day. I want to check Rock Paper Shotgun more, but I don't pay for it, so I don't. Like, there's a bunch there behind a paywall.
Oh, I'll show you how to run that shit.
Oh, let's not cheat the journalist, Josh. That's the one group of people.
Oh no, I still pay for it. I'll just show you around it if you want.
Okay, all right. I'll show you how to cheat the system, but we're gonna.
I'm not that guy. I pay for it. I'm saying, like, we can use mine. You can read it.
I'm gonna give you my. You could have just said, "I'll give you my password." You made it sound so menacing, like we're gonna murder a journalist. That's what
Fuck
you.
those guys.
That's the gist I was getting from you.
No, I'm not that. You know what? You know what? You don't even get permission now. I'm not going to give you anything.
You're not gonna share your password.
No, fuck you.
That's okay. It's not that expensive. I do like the aftermath hours. I do like what those folks are doing, and it sounds like they're gonna do a lot more. They had a pretty successful fundraiser recently. And then I like the smaller sites like SmashingGameTime.com. Hey,
Heard it here first.
hey. And, just anything where not only oh, hey, here's the news of the day, or if I want something where there's criticism, like game criticism, game reviews, just think pieces. I like the think pieces.
I mean, I like the websites that aren't being paid to give their reviews, like Game Chronicles.
Oh no.
I'm just being honest. Like that's one of the reasons why I don't go. Like I'll go to IGN just to get the gist of what they're going to give it, and if I see them give it a 10, I go, okay, hold on, I need to go somewhere else and just kind of see what everybody else is saying and read true, honest reviews. Not somebody who got paid to give it a 10. Don't get me wrong.
No one is Josh.
Nick?
You have been review pilled. No one is being. People are
I
being.
swallowed. I
People
picked
are
the red
paid.
pill.
So the folks that are reviewing it are being paid by their employer to review it, but they're not being paid. No one at Ubisoft is sliding an envelope to Joe Gamer and saying, "Give this a 10, Sonny. Give this Assassin's Creed a 10."
We're gonna do this real quick. Hold on, Nick. You've seen enough coverage of Skull and Bones, right?
I have. It looks rough.
So, based on what you've seen and all that, 1 out of 10, what would you give it? 10 being the best.
I don't really have I have an informed opinion. I just have other stuff that I've seen.
No, but just based on what you've seen. Like, okay, how about this?
If I had to guess what people were giving it, I'd say the reviews probably range, if we're doing Metacritic, somewhere in the 70s.
God damn it, I hate you. I was gonna say IGN give it a 7 out of 10. I'm like, I'm sorry, to get a rehashed out version or rehashed to a certain extent version of Black Flag to then fail completely on it. Like, I'm sorry, Ubisoft, to sit here and say, to have your I think it was their CEO come out and say oh, this is a quadruple A game.
Well,
Where the fuck did you get that extra A? First off,
I think having numbers I like the numbers because if you're someone who just okay, I need to see what it got. I need to be informed really quick. Oh, okay, it got a 10. Okay, it's going to be worth my time. But I think numbers in general, from just everybody's standpoint, I don't really think numbers do much.
No, I'm with you. I want to see a number real quick just to get the gist. And then if I'm if it's questionable. So if IGN came up and said, okay, we're going to give Skull and Bones a 10 out of 10, and I haven't played it yet, I'm probably going to go to Steam or someone else's website and just see the public reviews and see what everybody else is giving and see how it is doing. And then if it's a mix, I'm not going to trust it, but I might read some of the reviews and see why why it's mixed, because they'll at least give me reasons, and they've got the hours put in, show me how many hours they've played in the game.
Well, and the people get it twisted. They're like, oh, they're paid for reviews. No, here's what everyone needs to do. And I know time is the most precious resource we all have, and it's running out every other day. It's running out with each passing day. We're 30, for God's sake. Find someone that you trust. Find someone that you trust. Read their reviews, and know that you're not always going to agree with them. Know that you may agree with them on a lot, but you're not always going to agree with them. Read other reviews, but at the end of the day, make your own decisions. Be informed, but also come to your own conclusions.
And so let me clarify one thing. I'm not saying whoever is writing the reviews is the one who's getting paid. They actually had to put in the work and do the effort. I'm talking about IGN themselves getting paid.
They're not being paid. Okay, Josh.
I'm just saying.
How do review codes it's a mutually beneficial relationship. IGN or whatever website, big readership, big fellowship, they're going to have eyeballs. This game's going to have eyeballs. We're mixing our eyeballs. No matter what you give us. And you know what? Like, the things are so fucked up right now that there are probably people that see like IGN give something a 4 and they're like, I bet this is way better than what they're saying.
Okay, and I don't take it that far, but
Because
I have my informed.
I've seen comments like that, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
No, I'm not that crazy. I don't think that. I just think, in my personal opinion, whenever I've played something and they've given it a 10, sometimes it's not justified. Like to anybody who still sits here and tells me that Call of Duty games are 10 out of 10s, and the same thing with like sports games like Madden or NHL and all that. They're the fucking same game. All they did was remove one thing and bring back 2 old features from a previous title.
Okay, but if you've looked at recent Madden reviews, like, that's reflected. Like, yes, for a while, reviews for Madden just kind of felt like they're like, okay, we're doing the yearly Madden thing. Here we go. Give it a 7. Like, I get that aspect of it, but no one's being paid for that. It comes down to having a good editor. It comes down to having a really good editor, and I think sites like IGN, Polygon, Kotaku usually have pretty good editors. Maybe something you read from them in the past maybe didn't get like the love that it needed, but no one's being paid. No one's being paid. No one's ever been swayed by a review. No one. In fact, I'd be willing to bet, like, not the developers who like probably have bonuses tied to like whatever they get on Metacritic, but I'd be willing to bet that if I'm Mr. C-Suite and IGN gives my AAA game a 5 and it causes an uproar, I'm excited about that because people are pissed at IGN and people are talking about our game. Josh, what sites do you read? Answer the question.
Honestly, I kind of just I hear more about what's been going on, and I'll see like tweets get put out or someone brings something up on like TikTok or whatever. I hear it through all the grapevine, and then I just look and I'll do like my research and I'll pick like a handful of websites. So I do the news. I don't necessarily like, okay, I'm gonna go to Game Rant and I'm just gonna pick one. No, I'm reading the articles, seeing what they've introduced in like the past 72 hours, and go, okay, this is interesting. I want to bring this up, and they talk about it. Great. I've heard of this. I've talked about it. Like the Halo, that I came across so many videos about them fans talking about it, and I was like, there's no way this is real. And I actually watched somebody in a live stream go through it all, and I'm like, this is fucking awesome. It just so happens that Game Rant had the first article. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna read this one. It had everything that I wanted to talk about. I was like, this is perfect. We're gonna use this as our example.
I can't do Game Rant. I can't do it because I wrote for Screen Rant for a little bit and I saw how the milk was made and I was like,
I'm trying to help fellow writers at this point. I could give 2 shits about their companies. It's just the writers.
Yeah,
they deserve the love. They put the effort in.
Yeah. The love, they deserve the money, Josh.
That too.
There's nothing more loving than the money they should be paid. One more. This comes from Sam. Sam, again, didn't say where he's from. We are 3 months out from Game of the Year so far, aka Goaty. So
God damn.
I added that part. What is your Game of the Year so far? I've got 3.
What's your 3?
Prince of Persia.
Okay.
Prince of Persia is a very, very, very strong opening. One that I cannot talk about. And then Helldivers 2.
Okay. Right now, for me, I would say Helldivers 2, for sure. It's definitely up there. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is up there. Trying to think, was there anything else on my list? I'm looking at my list right now just to see. No, I'm going to stick with those 2. Honestly, it's been a very solid first quarter.
If I had a dark horse in the race, I think Banishers is up there too.
I'm not gonna lie. Every time I see it, I want to play it. I just don't want to drop $60 on it.
Every time I think about it, I'm like, I should go play more Banishers.
Is it on sale yet? I'm not trying to say that they don't deserve the money. I'm just cheap.
Oh, here, let's find out. I can click over here. I gotta find it.
It's $49.99.
We could also put Transistor on that list. That would be our game of the year that wasn't this year.
Yeah. We can make a category and call it like
It is not on sale, I'm sorry to say.
that's okay. I'll wait. It looks good. I'm hoping by the time I finally get to it. I mean, I didn't see too many bugs or too many people complain about it, including you. Like you made it sound like it was like, for the most part, pretty fucking solid.
Well, and I played some of it on Steam Deck. And
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't run the best on Steam Deck, but it ran good enough to where I could continuously play it on the go.
Now, did you put it on the micro SD or did you put it on the SSD?
Which
M.2.
one runs better?
M.2.
Huh?
The M.2.
That's where I ran it.
Okay. I was saying, if it didn't run great, that's probably why.
Well, and I made sure it was on there. I made sure for sure. I was like, nope, this has to run. I need this to run the best that it can. And you know what? Balatro would probably be, if I had to pick one, because I've named like multiple games. If I had to pick one right now, it'd probably be Helldivers 2. Just from the fun factor, just from the replayability. And then second close right now would be Prince of Persia.
I mean, that's another one I want to. I mean, there's so many games I want to add to my list. I can't.
I want to see what their numbers are, just being only available on Ubisoft. I don't think they did. Maybe they did a physical release. I don't remember seeing any though.
If they did, maybe on the Switch.
Not that any stores would be carrying it. Target is like a wasteland.
Well, I think they're going to join Best Buy real soon and start working out all the physical media.
The Target near me has started like phasing out the PlayStation and Xbox aisle. I feel like have started like instead of like one on each side, just having them on the same side.
Oh,
So I was like, oh no, oh
that's
no,
different.
no.
The one near me right now, it's not that it's bare. It just seems like they haven't really brought in anything new lately.
Well, and they stopped putting. So they have the ones where the front game you can pull out on a string.
Uh-huh.
They don't fill those anymore.
Yeah, that's how ours has been.
And it was so trashy. It's like just have the glass case.
So I've been thinking about it, and I was going to bring this up because this cracks me up every time I'm on Facebook Marketplace. Someone wants to put up the PlayStation Portal, the little handheld screen controller that you could play, the PS5 anywhere at your house.
Yeah.
I keep going on there, and someone's trying to sell it for like $350. Got like trying to make some money off of it, and they're like sold out everywhere. And I look at like their general location, and they happen to be near me, and I'm like, that's funny because both my Best Buy and my Target have them in stock right now.
Do you comment on it that?
Oh, I've sent multiple comments and I'll take a picture and send it to them like, hey, just so you're aware, both Target and Best Buy have it in stock right now.
Oh, I hope you're putting.
$249.99.
I hope you're like commenting on it for everyone to see with like, oh, hey.
There's no way to comment on Facebook.
Oh, that's dumb.
I mean, I could rate them technically, but I think I have to buy something from them before.
You should be able to comment on something that's for sale and be like, hey, this guy's full of shit. Look here.
Oh, trust me, I just call them out on it. And I'm like, hey, just so you're aware, I can go anywhere here and grab for $249.99. Now, if you want to sell it to me for $200 since you bought it, it's technically not new. I don't care if it's in a package. It's not new at that point. That is slightly used.
Yeah.
For all I know, if I want to buy this as a collector's item, technically, I need it to be in pristine condition. If the box is even slightly damaged or the saran wrap that's around it is cut open, to me, that's not mint condition. That is open.
Well, no one should be buying a PlayStation 5 controller that's cut in half with a TV in the middle of it. That's all I'm going to say.
It's no one should be buying a PlayStation. No one should be buying this Portal unless they're. I mean, it is the PlayStation minus the console itself.
Yeah, yeah.
And cost wise,
there's nothing you can do with if you don't have a PS5. It's just a screen.
I'm gonna blow people's mind right now. See this little bad boy right here? Does the exact same thing. It's my phone. Does the exact same thing. See this bad boy right here? Exact same thing.
Crazy.
I already own them.
For those listening, he held up multiple screens that had porn on them.
And then you know what the funny thing is, Nick? Do you see this bad boy right here? This little PS5 controller?
Is that PS5? Okay, it's black. I was like, that's not PS5.
That one.
It's the Mad Catz PS5 controller.
Yeah. No, it's official. It's the Midnight Black, and then I've got my modded one right here.
That's the Mad Catz.
This is the badass one.
Josh's Mad Catz controller. The episode title is either going to be Josh's Mad Catz PS5 controller or Chris Pratt is Sheamus Aran.
I honestly prefer the latter of the two.
I think it'll be the latter. Hey, everybody, that's the show. Thank you to all those who sent in emails. We love those. Send more in. You can send us a question or just talk shit on smashinggametime@gmail.com. We love reading those. Send them on over. We read everything. I read it all. I don't respond.
We're only slightly illiterate.
Only slightly, only a little bit. Hey, you can find me, Nick, on X, formerly Twitter, at That Kaufman. You can find me on Twitch and YouTube at Nick Fat Knight. You can also find some of my writing and, my hard drive articles over at nickkaufman.com. Josh, where can the people find you?
Anywhere and everywhere. And I'm Josh Sang, and I will have articles up by the time this recording is out. I've been working on them, Nick. I've been working on them.
They're not in. I haven't seen drafts on the website, Josh.
God damn it, Nick. I am literally working on it in Word, and I will have them up there.
You know what? I believe you. You can also
never believe me.
You can also find us both on Game Chronicles. Josh has Outcast up for his review for Outcast up. I will have a few reviews going up right around the time you're hearing this, so go over there and check those out. Smashing Game Time, we have a website called smashinggametime.com. I do a weekly diary over there with whatever I'm thinking about, usually gaming related, sometimes not. Go over there and take a look. We also put the podcast up there. Again, you can get the podcast Apple, Spotify, YouTube podcast, and YouTube proper. So go over there and check out our faces on the YouTube or on smashinggametime.com. Fuck the algorithm, tell a friend. That's right. Word of mouth king here with the boys at Smashing Game Time. Thank you, as always, to Alex Marvin Clark for our intro and outro song, Hunt Him Down. We have a link to his SoundCloud down in the show notes. Go check that out. And that's the show. Hey, we have a special interview next week with the developer of Nuclear Blaze, former dev who worked on Dead Cells, so that'll be fun. Check that out next Monday. Yeah, we're going to record that actually here in a few days, so we're getting ready for that. And then we've got Fallout 76 sitting here that needs to be downloaded, all 100 gigabytes of it. We're going to be playing Fallout 76 throughout the month of April, a little bit here in March, all to get ready for the upcoming Amazon Prime show Fallout that actually looks pretty good. Mm-hmm. So keep up with that. We may stream that. I don't know. We'll have to check our schedules. I think once I clear reviews, we'll have a little more time. Hey, everybody. Oh, and Smashing Game Time is wherever we're on the Twitters, we're on the Instagrams. We're not so much we're on TikTok, but we don't really do it over there because who knows if that site's going to be around next week.
They're about to be shut down.
Maybe. Who knows? So find us wherever. Hey, everybody. This has been Smashing Game Time. I hope you all had a smashing great time. We'll see each and every one of you next time.